Hello, Perfect Death Ryan here, bringing some actual boss hunting with Ragnarok Online Mobile here. So, I'm not exactly I'm testing out the sort of hybrid on boss hunting and tanking. So, when you are doing a hybrid sort of build like this, I've been juggling around how much you want to focus on damage per second versus how good you are at tanking. Hillwind's a bit tricky to deal with. You want to auto attack him to get rid of his damage reduction shield. He still has some other tricks that'll make your damage fluctuate up and down a bunch. So, but in general, he's pretty easy to tank. I'm actually going to use this because one of the rotations I usually do is I will switch between using Shield of Judex and using Earth Drive. It's a bit annoying when he keeps stunning me like that, but this way there's a shorter delay after using Shield of Judex than there is with using Earth Drive all the time. So mixing an Earth Drive and then a Shield of Judex and then usually 2 Earth Drives if you wanted to get the best DPS going. So I'm going to Freedom while I use Command Charge just to make sure that the boss doesn't stun me while I'm doing Command Charge, because that will cancel the Command Charge's automatic Earth Drive casting. So you can see here, right now I'm up to about 5 million damage, and I do about half of that in damage with Shield of Judex here. So and then it's up to about 6 mil sometimes. As he gets lower in health, I find you do generally more damage to him. So, and this should kill him soon. Yeah, there we go. And once I finish getting the loot here, I'm going to actually head for Hermes, the poison element one. He's a bit trickier. He's the one who I've been using as my main benchmark to see how tanky I am. I might have to change some gear around while I fight him, so we'll see. Usually I end up sacrificing a little more damage potential and going for more healing against Hermes. So there's these little portals here. Let's hop around real quick. There shouldn't be, oh there he is, right there. Usually he's not a very popular pick for people to go right away against, and I'm at a time of the day where there's not much competition. So right now I'm going to switch to this for sure, and this. It's going to increase my healing and my damage reduction against these guys right here. So taunt, if you need more defense ignore, you can use taunt, but I currently don't need to use taunt that often. It might be against an enemy with much higher. So you can see I've got yeah, it doesn't actually do anything if I taunt and then use Earth Drive. So not much point for me doing that. Every now and then Hermes will spawn a bunch of his clones, and during that time I will want to boost my healing rates. So to do that, there is Divine Protection. That's going to boost my self-heal. And I can also use the Counterattack Halo, which it doesn't do quite that much damage. It's useful if you want to bypass some defenses. But in general, this is just going to be a bit of a drawn-out fight because poison gets a 25% damage penalty against, or Earth does 25% less damage against poison. So if I had another element, gotta use, and there we go, I died because I couldn't get my battle chant off, so I'll just run back there. I was clicking on it, but because I was getting hit, I didn't have Endure on, it was preventing me from casting skills. So that's something to keep in mind there. I got a little distracted showing things off. So we'll just head back over there. I he's closer this way. I've used strength food and vitality food, and I've also got this earth damage thing going on as well. It's a earth mastery, or alloy, yeah, earth mastery alloy, which is 5% earth damage. Gives you some nice bonus. I've got the converter for earth for my main, which only applies to Shield of Jetix here, which isn't useful in this case. You want it to stick your weapon element to neutral if you really wanted to get the most DPS out of your Jetix. So the command charge can kind of help you out in this situation because it will decrease his, come on, do that, get my healing boost up. Yeah, usually Hermes gets a bit of a damage buff going on when he hits certain increments of health, and so usually, you know, when that happens, my health will drop quite a bit and then it'll start to pick up gradually. I also could, if I, because right now I've got a Vespa card in. Oh, and I took out that. That would also, I'm using some God backpack items because that boosts Earth Drive damage. I'll go over a bunch of that stuff later, but right now, let's go, where are you? Man-Eater Grass. I'm currently using a Vespa card, which just gives me damage against wind stuff, and I am not fighting a wind enemy, I'm fighting a poison enemy. There is a card like that that does extra damage against poison, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use an extra boost to my heal. I get a little 12k heals from the Man-Eater Grass. So that's going to help boost my heal rate, so I don't have to worry too much about that now. So a lot of this is just me getting used to balancing out how much DPS and tanking I can distribute throughout my gear and my build. Right now I'm not running a Saint Chant rune for boosting Battle Chant. I'm running an Earth Drive rune that I think will stun, because it's got a 24% stun. And let's just pull the boss out over here so I can actually see a little better. I don't think it stuns his guys here. It doesn't look like it does, so. But in some cases that stun chance can help you if you've got a problem with the mobs. But in this case, we're gonna have this fight done pretty soon. And I'll just command charge, do that. Jetix, Earth Drive, and Jetix. So basically 2 Earth Drives, 1 Jetix. Because you can see the cooldown rate is pretty close to each other, but it's not that great. So the Jetix definitely helps in certain situations. Like I say, if you have if you're fighting multiple elements or something that Earth isn't a very good element against, like if I'm up against a fire enemy, then that's going to give Earth a 50% penalty. But if you use a water converter, then your Jetix is going to help to compensate that a little bit. So, I wonder if there's anything else I can poke. Got this guy. He's a slow one to do. But let's go see if anybody's killing him right now. He's a slow fight. Cthulhuanix, I think is his name, is how you pronounce him. But let's see. Nope, wrong one. Holy Ice Cave. We'll see if somebody's on him. For that, he's the kind that I'd convert my weapon element to wind, so that the Jetix kind of compensates for the Earth Drive not really getting any bonus. So let's see. Is he up? There he is. Oh, and somebody is fighting him and just killed him. So, oh well. Next, I'll go over what I've got for my build and some of the variations that you can run for it. So, to start with, I have a punishing guillotine. This is definitely useful if you're fighting bosses, and since there's not really much for a tanking spear, this with a morale will help you a lot for doing earth drive damage. For cards, I have the Minorus and the Desert Wolf for the double insight bonus, so it's 50% defense ignore for each of these, and comboed with the Abyssal Cry and the Cavalry Mastery passives, I get a over that threshold. So if I go down here against, where's the size? This one's, there we go. So 55% against both small and large as soon as you're over 50% on either of these. When you have the deposit card bonus, then that will give you the defense ignore. So my defense ignore is, if we go back up here, 163. So with the, I believe, a lot of the current bosses, they get up to, the newest ones get up to about 180%, and then a Toast Tower is like 200%. So with Taunt, I can drop their defense down to 180 if they're at a 200, or if they're at a 180, then they can go down to 160. So for those kind of bosses, using Taunt is useful for getting them to my threshold range. And as for that, this one just has an Andrew card. I don't have the defense ignore bonus from this. I don't have enough dexterity for doing that, but oh well. It's not why I have it. I have it for the bonus size damage. You saw me switch over to a Goblin Leader mask when I was fighting a Demi-Human, and that's because I was using previously the Pixie Ear here for the bonus damage to wind monsters. And if you needed more healing rates, like I have this one here, which is 5% bonus healing and a 4%, so this is going to give me the most healing rate. And this is also one if I actually killed Devine, Sniper Devine earlier, and this was quite useful for doing that because I didn't need to worry about tanking against her. So I do have this for the mouthpiece, though Spiked Scarf is also pretty good as well. And for the back item, I switched from Devil Wing for the extra damage to the Stellar Wing for the extra healing and damage reduction. They both have, this one has an extra bonus to healing, this one's got max HP. And then for this one, I have the skill damage bonus here. For the offhand, I've got this. This isn't the best shield for doing Earth Drive DPS, but it does give you some pretty good vitality bonuses, not nearly as much as the giant shield though. So, but +5 is still good, and this is a lot of healing bonuses, as it will give you 2% to battle chant every refine. Got my +10 Watcher's armor, which has a lot of vitality, but it's not quite as good as the Goibin armor for giving you the most benefits for Earth Drive. And I also have a poison resistance on this one. So with the Agrirobe card and the deposit bonus, that gives me 50% resistance to being poisoned. This is another 21, and then I have a passive skill for Royal Guards over here. Another 30% there. I have just over 100% poison resistance, so that's why I can just stand in Hermes' poison and it does nothing to me. So back to here, I have the Ancient Keep for the defense ignore, and a Pupa Star for the defense and defense percentage bonus. That way you do more damage, The ideal one that I've seen people going for is obviously the Eclipse Star card because it's huge vitality bonuses and max HP bonuses, but that's like 400 or 500 million zenny or something insane like that, and I don't have that much. The boots, I have these for the healing bonus and the vitality bonus. You know, grandma or variant boots are going to be better for doing earth drive damage, but these are a tankier boot due to the self-healing rate. And then I've got my rings of immortality for the vitality and the physical defense enchantment. So that out of the way there. If you wanted to go more down the DPS route for earth drive, a very simple thing would be to invest minimum into battle chat, so about level 3. That will unlock inspiration, and then the rest of your points you can put into spear thrust, which will give you more defense, ignore, and then when you get to the breakthrough levels for 11 to 15, that is 1% penetration every thing there, so that's going to help you with that. And I do have prestige for reducing enemy attack, and so you could reinvest some of those points into spear thrust as well. And these skills up here are pretty good for, you know, your earth drive build right there, so you'd still want those maxed out. You don't really need to get this to the level 15 because it just gives you attack, and that kind of helps Shield of Jetix, as Shield of Jetix uses Shield Boomerang for its base of damage, and then it just gives you extra damage, and that will use some attack and refine attack bonuses. If you did want to combo the earth drive with a shield skill, then this one will actually give you the 300 points of defense, so that's a bit better than the Shield of Jetix. Shield of Jetix will just give you the AoE of Shield Boomerang, but it won't give you the defense bonus. So as for some of the other skills, not too many skills really help you out with the earth drive build. You usually go for Glorious Guardian if you want the passive auto guard healing, but that requires you to focus a lot more on intelligence, and if you want to hit hard with your shield skills, then you would, instead of investing in intelligence, you would go for strength for attack bonuses. So in this case I'm just all vitality and intelligence, and then I have the 120 dexterity for instant casting Divine Protection. You see I had a very tiny cast speed there. That's because I didn't have my inspiration giving me extra dexterity. So not much more fancy about that, just mixing and matching different gears. Alright, here's the giant shield. If you wanted comparison, it does has less defense, but it has more vitality, just by 1, but the main thing is that as you refine giant shield, you get damage to bosses that goes up, and so this makes it a very good boss hunting shield for earth drive build. Aside from that, you'd also want to roll your enchantments to have more morale, more vitality. I do have on this hat here a 7 vitality, and then the NPC Revenge card is probably better than the Andrew Star because it gives you the 2 stat bonus, so that's 2 extra vitality, and vitality is a very nice bonus for earth drive builds. So I'd say that'd be it for this video. Just wanted to show off my progression from the previous one where I had very poor DPS. Now it's semi-poor, but I can generally do a fairly good job tanking while also still balancing out DPS. That'll be it for this video. Take care.